I'm Andrew Morgan, a proud supporter of Hokes Bluff Eagle Athletics.
All right, we are actually at Average Joe's headquarters here with a very special athlete from Hokes Bluff High School. I'm going to let that young lady introduce herself at this time.
Hi, I'm Chloe Rule. I'm a sophomore at Hokes Bluff High School, and I'm a middle hitter in volleyball.
Now, Chloe, you've been on our show before, and your dad and I have been friends for years and years, and I've watched you grow up. When you were on the show before, what really caught our attention in our eyes, you had broke your school's high jump record in 7th grade, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you've had some success at sports at Hokes Bluff at a very early age. Let's kind of rewind the clock a little bit. Talk about, for those who don't know you or anything about Hokes Bluff, because people from all over the state and country watch these, talk about what it's been like just growing up in Hokes Bluff in general.
I feel like growing up in Hokes Bluff, it feels more like family than anything because you know everyone around you and everyone's willing to help you. So I feel like whenever you're in the Hokes Bluff community, you can feel like safe and you're at home, really.
Feels more like a family than just a school, obviously.
Yes, sir.
Now, what was your earliest, and I know we may have said some of this on your other video, but we've grown a lot, so we're going to go through some of this again. What was your earliest memories of sports? What sports did you play first?
The first sport I ever played was basketball in church league. I was like 4 or 5 playing with my dad going up and down the court. And we didn't have a girls' team because I was the only girl that would play basketball for my church. So I was playing against a boys' team usually because not many wanted to play. But that was the first time I had really been introduced to sports, and it just started my love for the games.
At 5, correct?
Yes.
Now, as you've come up, when was your first time playing for a Hokes Bluff team?
The first time I played for a Hokes Bluff team was in the 3rd grade. When I moved here, I was on the rec league basketball team.
Gotcha. So some of those teammates you probably still play with to this day?
I do, in fact, play with the majority of them if they hadn't stopped playing or they've like graduated or something.
Let's move it up to when you broke the state's high jump, or the school's high jump record. That was in 7th grade, correct?
Yes, sir.
Talk us about, was that your first year on track or your second?
That was my first year on track.
First year you broke the school's high jump record. Talk
Yes,
about
sir.
that a little bit and how that all came about.
Well, it happened at sectionals right before we went to state, and it was a really late night track meet, and I was standing with Lauren Dowdy, and I had just cleared 4.8, which was very rare for me to do at the time. And I thought, okay, well, if I can clear 4.8, I'll just attempt the 4.10. And the first scratch, I had barely nicked it with the back of my heel. And so Coach Morgan was watching from afar because coaches are supposed to be in like a certain box at sectionals and state. So I went back up for the second attempt, and I got off the mat, and I was walking back over to Lauren because I thought my heel had hit it again because I felt it nick it one more time. And I said, all right, well, one more time. And she said, Chloe, there's no other time. Look. And I turned around, and I cleared it.
Dude, that's awesome. And this is the Coach Morgan that's on the football team, the training
Yes, sir.
Darian Mead's favorite coach, I remember.
Yes.
He bragged about Coach Morgan a lot.
I love
Dude,
Coach Morgan.
Having that kind of success, I mean, obviously even your peers that were, even seniors at the time had to notice you. What's that been like, knowing that, some of these girls you probably grew up idolizing was now teammates of yours?
Yes, sir. It's really surreal, honestly, because I've always chosen to look at my upperclassmen as models for what I'm going to do with the way I play the game and the way I compete in general. And I usually copy most of my motions after all of them if they're playing, whether it be my position or just standing beside me on the court doing a certain move like in basketball, or the way they swing during volleyball season. And I think I really do still look up to most of them, even if they're gone, like graduated. I still look back on what they've done, and I still can find the certain movements that I need to do.
Women's sports at Hokes Bluff is not average. I mean,
No.
they're all competitive in anything. I mean,
Yes.
and I remember, golly, I remember going to the county tournament when Coach Shields was there, and there'd be more people at the girls' championship than the boys even. I mean, it's just been truly remarkable for years past, and now obviously you guys have kept it rolling. But let's dive into this is more of a volleyball-based interview, but let's dive into, when was your first year playing volleyball on varsity level?
On the varsity level?
No, I mean, you played JV, correct?
Yes, sir. I started JV as a freshman, and our first game got canceled. So I didn't get to play a JV game because as soon as the JV game was canceled, coaches wanted me to come to a practice tournament with them on the varsity. So I started varsity for their first game of the season.
Now, tell everybody who your coaches are.
My coaches are Coach Simmons and Coach Handy. They're great role models of mine.
And people who don't know, they're actually Jake Ball's sisters, correct?
Yes, sir.
So they actually grew up in a very sports-oriented family and very competitive. Talk about those practices, because I went out and did you guys' preseason video. And that's one thing, you know, Coach said she can turn it over to her sister and not miss a lick, how intense they are.
Yes, practices are usually always intense. We tend to go hard the entire time like it's an actual game because if you practice the way you play, you'll play the way you practice. And that's our entire mindset for the entire year. And if we mess up, there's no point where there isn't a time where we reconsider what we've done and then we learn from it immediately. We do multiple different drills and we go through them and we try and do them as perfect as we can. Even though we're not entirely perfect, we do try our best to make sure the coaches know that we're giving 110%.
Yeah, because you girls are, I mean, when I watch you practice, it's very intense.
It is.
Very intense.
Everyone's always talking and you can tell a practice is going on.
And another thing that a lot of people watching this outside the county probably do not know, but I can promise you every single person in this county knows is you guys don't have the luxury of air conditioning in your gym.
Gosh, no, we do not. It is very hot in that gym.
So that makes for a fun practice, though.
Yes.
But then say you guys go on the road and you're playing somebody in an air-conditioned gym and they're starting to wear out.
We're
We're good.
Yeah, you
guys are just rolling on, right?
Yes, sir.
So talk about last season and that experience, you know, it being your first, true season on the varsity level. And I know there were some growing pains, but there were also some highs. Talk about just the overall experience from last year.
It was really like a lot last year because we had one senior and she was our setter and she played libero. It was Mackenzie Bates. She was a very important role that was being played in that entire season. We had a few errors, but we usually came back from them with the helps of the coaches. We tried our best to stay up during the games, and every time we came down, we always try and build each other up more than we do anything.
And Mackenzie got injured too, correct?
She did. She got injured during basketball season. She tore her ACL.
Man, that's no good. I remember seeing her. She's injured. So now coming into this season, I mean, you guys are definitely a different look now.
Yes, sir.
Talk about your off-season workouts to this point in the season's right around the corner, about to start. What it's looked like since you guys have gotten back together to this point, right before you start a match. Actually, this coming Monday.
Yes,
Tomorrow.
sir. Yeah, tomorrow.
Well, probably today by the time this drops.
Probably. We are looking a little rough, but I feel like we can start the season rough if we end it put together.
That's right.
So we're looking for a setter right now. We're still working on that because after Bates left, we've got Ava Dodd working on setting positions, and she's doing great as setter. We've got Hallie Davenport, Charlie Robinson, all of them trying to figure out the way to put their hands, and they're all working very hard. They're usually at practice 30 minutes before everyone else, already dressed and working on setting drills. And a setter is like the most liable position, I feel like, because that's the only way you can get this ball up to a hitter.
That's right.
And I feel like we're going to do good this year. We're going to be strong because we've got a lot of hitters. We've got a lot of good hitters. So I think we'll be able to hold our own.
But none of this is going to matter when you're towering over the net and they can't get it across to begin with, right? You agree with that? You can't be humble. We're just talking amongst friends here. But if they can't get the ball across the net, it's going to be extremely hard for you. Well, you guys won't even need a setter, really.
Well, we'd like to say that. We'd like to say that, but we do need a setter.
Now, you guys always play. I mean, you guys play in a tough county. I mean, your county, you got Courtney Brothers and what they do at Southside. But just talk about this county in general, not necessarily your area or region, but this county in general, of the volleyball that's in this area.
I know that we had a lot of trouble going up against teams last year, and we gave it just back hard to them as they did us. Glencoe was one of our biggest problems. They fought gritty, and we tried our best to compete. We beat them one of the times, I think, out of the three, and that's one of my goals this year, to beat Glencoe more than once this year.
That's a rival.
Yes, very big rivalry. Geraldine was a problem in area. They're a strong team. They've got strong hitters, good setters, nice passes, hard serves. Geraldine was one of our problems too. I wish we could do better against them as well. And as you said, Southside. I'm not sure if we will play them this year or not.
I'm sure y'all probably will in the county.
Probably. I hope we do, because Southside's one of my dream teams to play against.
Yeah.
See if I can compete with their strength.
That's right. They work really hard. They do CrossFit and stuff in the off season. Well, all season really. But one thing we've noticed is we picked up our volleyball coverage a tremendous amount this year because it wasn't being looked at. Do you feel the same way about obviously it's during the middle of football season, but being a player and playing volleyball, do you feel the same way that it's not really getting the coverage that it deserves?
Volleyball is extremely underlooked, I feel like, during football season, because football is like the prime of everything, and you're always going to want to be at the football games. And when volleyball games happen to fall on a Friday night, there's going to be less people there. But because we go to the football games, we've talked to like the football players and stuff, and anytime they're free and off of practice, they're always at our games supporting us just as much.
That's good.
So the support in the community is still there. I just feel like there's not enough coverage really on it.
Exactly. That's why I've been trying to boost that up, and I definitely appreciate you sitting in to help out with that, because it's all about awareness and marketing is the way I look at it. And it's like I told Courtney Brothers, I told her, I said, hey, there's no use trying to compete on Fridays. There's no reason you can't on Saturday, Monday through Wednesday, if that makes sense. That's what we're trying to do here, even though we're here on a Sunday. But let's dive into this season right here. What is your number one goal personally that you're going to do to try to help this team be as successful as possible?
My number one goal this year is to be a better defender on the net. Blocking is one thing I want to be extremely well at. I know I had all-county offensive player this year, the amount of hits I had last year, and I'd like to keep those up as well. But I really focus on defense with everything. I want my blocks to be stronger. I want to be quicker on the court. I've been working on passing as well, so I'm able to play back row. Everything really relies on the defense too, because the defense is what will stop most of their points.
That's right.
So defense is technically offense in the game of volleyball too.
And, definitely. I've seen people that go up and stuff one down, and the whole momentum changes. If they're having trouble getting it over that net, they start getting intimidated as well. I've seen that in volleyball. I think volleyball, even more than basketball, is the biggest momentum sport I've ever seen. It
really is, because one wrong hit and you get on yourself, and you can't do anything about it if you're too deep.
And on the other end, if somebody, you guys get a kill and everybody's going crazy, and then you get somebody back there serving that they can't do much with, next thing you know, you guys have reeled off 7, 8, 9 points in a row, and they hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right. And defense usually starts those moments. I've noticed that. Defense usually starts that. And that's huge, especially with you talking about being dominant around the net, not letting people get past you. That's gonna be huge if you can get that taken care of. My next question is, who are some of the girls on your team that maybe people don't know about up to this day, that's going to be new faces, that's going to have to step up and help you guys?
I know that Ava Dodd is going to be able to step up.
Is that Josh Dodd's daughter?
It's Carrie and Cassie Dodd.
Okay, Carrie and Cassie, okay.
Yes, they're great friends. Okay. Ava Dodd is going to be a futile player for us to have. She's got good hands as a setter. Charlie Robinson can play back row like nobody else I know. We've got the Glencoe transfer, Kayla Traylor, coming in. She will be a strong outside hitter, and definitely going to need her jumping ability on blocking with defense. And Haley Kate Wellingham, she's one of my best friends, and she does help me a lot on the net with timing on blocks, hits, and we communicate a lot on the net as well.
No doubt. How intense is your practice? Do y'all talk trash amongst each other?
We do. Who's the
biggest trash talker on your team?
Well, it depends on the day. Depends on the day, honestly, because I do talk trash quite a bit. It's usually JV against varsity, so we.
They don't have much to say then, do they?
I mean, they try. I love the JV though. The JV is fun to play against, but we do trash talk quite a bit, and it just makes practice more fun.
I can see your two coaches trash talking each other.
They get into everything with us. I love the coaches.
I love it.
They're very involved in us, and I love it.
That makes obviously better. When you got competitive nature, whether it be coaches or players, whatever, it's the old saying like the Bible, iron sharpens iron. That makes everybody better.
Yes.
That's good. Now, let's step away from volleyball for one moment and let's talk about this before we shut down. You had a pretty successful year in basketball as well last year.
Yes.
Talk about that experience.
I did like the basketball season last year. We could have done better going into sub-regionals and all of that, but we did win.
Game. That's my fault. I shouldn't have came. Bad luck. Go ahead.
It's okay. We did win the county championship last year.
It's huge.
Yes, it was very big. I was so proud to be a part of the team in that moment. We had new coaching last year, which was very different from our beloved Coach Shields. We had Coach Evan Talbot come in and had Coach Rutledge, our vice principal, come in as the assistant coach. And both of them have been they've done great things for us. I'm looking forward to this year as well. They know how to keep us level-headed. They come up with good plays, and they run practice well.
So now you guys made it. Plainview is the game we're talking about here.
Yes, that was the last game we played last year.
That's right. That was a very tough game. I went to watch that one. But now, up until that point, you guys were on a bit of a roll there. Talk about, being a freshman and being able to have the opportunity, because most freshmen scared to death. I mean, they're on JV scared to death. Mm-hmm. Talk about being in varsity in a sub-regional game as a freshman.
I've usually been expected higher because of my athletic ability and height. So whenever I go into a game, I really just have to put everything behind me and realize I've just got to go out there and play no matter who it is. I mean, we could be playing Jacksonville State, and I've still got to go out there and act like I'm playing just a kindergartner, even though they're probably going to drop 30 on me. But it's okay. But yes, I usually pride myself on rebounds, though. I was top rebounder last year for my team with 112. I plan on getting more this year because the points do matter to me, but rebounding, again, defense is where I rely on everything, because I can do so much more under the goal than just be a big body. I can control everything under the paint if I need to.
That's a lost art form in basketball nowadays. Yes. When your dad and I played, which is back when Fred Flintstone was on Earth, we used to have these things called centers, and they actually played down low. They wasn't shooting threes and running the floor. Yeah. They actually altered shots, and they rebounded, and they were enforcers in the paint. That's gone now. But I guarantee you will get a job anywhere in the WNBA if you are extreme, if you own the paint and you play defense extreme, and you rebound and alter shots. You will get a job any day in the WNBA. That much I can guarantee you, especially someone with your height. Yes. Now you can go Google what a center was, because that's, like I said, that's a lost art form. But now, I mean, you 7-footers shooting threes. But back into this coming up, we're talking about spring sports again. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about track and what all you were going to compete in the track this year as well.
Yes. Last year, freshman year of mine, I was one of 2 female sprinters that we had. It was me and Haley Kate Wellingham. Again, she's great athletic ability.
Sister, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. We did high jump. I competed in long jump once at the beginning of the year. She usually does the long jump. I've ran in the 4x4 and the 400-meter dash.
So 4x4 and the 400 by yourself.
Yes.
You got a pretty long stride, I imagine.
I do. It's the only thing that keeps me there.
I'm sure people take off and then you walk them down halfway through. They're like, where did this girl come from? So how did you do last year overall, do you think?
I feel like I was able to hold my own, considering I'm not usually a sprinter. I usually ran like mid-distance my 7th grade year, because 8th grade year didn't really exist in sports for me because of COVID. Yeah. But I went from running an 800 to a 400 and a 200 in less than a year. So it was a big change. Yeah, it was quite the change, but I feel like I was able to hold my own. I did make it to state in high jump again last year. I didn't do as good as I did the few years back, though, but I'm coming back stronger, I feel like, next year.
What does your workouts look like? I mean, the school regimen, I'm sure, is difficult. But what are some of the things you do to work on yourself outside of what you're told to do?
Well, I'm usually at the gym shooting with Kylie Blackwell. She's a very reliable player on the basketball team. Or if I'm not shooting, I usually get friends to go with me to like the gyms, like Snap Fitness and stuff. I usually go to those gyms, and then I'll get some running in outside of my house and stuff because I've got a really long driveway, so I'll run that. I just do a bunch of CrossFit, really.
There you go. That's good sports related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you're in better shape than your dad?
Possibly.
You think you could dunk on your dad? Not yet.
Well, he's got long arms, so I don't know.
He's only 6'10".
Only 6'10". Only, and I'm only 6'1".
Hey, there we go. Hey, I'm just joking about that. You can. I'm sure you can out high jump him. I mean, I'll put money on that.
I mean, probably. I'd hope so.
But talk about your dad in general. How awesome he's been to have a dad, a sports oriented guy that gets it, that's played himself, and talk about having him around. What that's meant for you in your career so far.
Yeah, he's been a big role since I was very little. Since he was the one that put me on the court to begin with. Mm-hmm. He was my coach in one of my rec league teams.
Yeah, was he harder on you than everybody else?
I feel like he tried to not be, but he still came down on me like a dog. But it's okay. It's okay.
Crack that whip now.
He's been a big role in my life in general. He's been the one that's most present. He usually tries his best to be at every single game, even though he's got work and usually works third shift. So he's supposed to be asleep.
Maybe a zombie, but he's sitting up there.
It's okay. He's there. He might not know what's happening, but it's okay.
He's sitting up there like Weekend at Bernie's. We don't know who that is, but your dad does.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Probably.
But nah, he does. He does. I remember he actually sends us pictures of events that we can't make it out to, and appreciate him for that. Now, moving forward, before we shut this video down, something I've been doing pretty new that's really turned out pretty good. For you to tell everybody that supports you, I mean, from Hokes Bluff fans, from Hokes Bluff administration, to family members, just people who buy us tickets to come watch you play, what would you like to say to them at this time?
Really just I enjoy seeing so many people at the games. It really means so much to the players because there's so much support that we need mentally during a game to know that we're playing for a reason other than just the fun of the game. So fans being there really does help, honestly, so much. And the roar of the crowd whenever something goes down is just so much going through your body at once. It's nothing like I've ever felt before. After a block or a kill or just a good play on a court or the way someone runs, it's just so exhilarating from the way that fans make you feel during a game. And I love whenever people are there. So I thank every single person that comes out and buys a ticket, every single family member I have that comes out and support, my uncle, Garrett Rule. He's Glencoe legend right there. But he really is.
Westbrook.
Yes, he is right now. He is their head coach, I believe. Isn't it head coach?
JV head coach.
Middle school head coach, yeah. And I really love whenever I see my family there because I know that whenever they're there, I have a reason to play again. And so I know they enjoy watching me play. I get told all the time. Whenever my friends are there, I know they're there to watch me after I've asked them multiple times to show up. And they finally do. So I thank all of them for showing up because it really does mean a lot.
Would you rather star in Hamlet or play in the WNBA?
WNBA probably.
What? She's grown up on us. We need to check. Make sure this is Chloe. People who don't know about you, that's your jam. Look at her. All right, we're gonna shut this down. I had to ask you that question.
Yes.
Good luck on the season, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you at some matches and obviously over in the basketball season.
Of course.